I used to go to people for advice about everything. I thought that the more people I asked, the better informed I was in my decision making. But the uncomfortable truth is that asking for advice probably hurt me more than it helped. Because I had to ask myself, why was I asking for advice in the first place? And one of those reasons was I was just indecisive. I didn't really know what I want. I thought that if I asked other people and I heard their opinions and I got different perspectives, it would help me understand what I want and which of those things sounded like what I wanted. Which leads to the other problem, was that I lacked clarity. I didn't really know what I want, so how can I make a decision? Well, I lacked clarity on what I wanted, so I thought that by asking other people for advice, they would somehow bring me clarity. And this is what was so problematic about asking for advice, because I didn't know what I wanted. And instead of figuring it out, I was hoping someone else was going to make the decision for me. That, or I was looking for someone to give me enough knowledge that I could remove all of the risks from that decision. When I'm asking for advice, I'm actually just trying to avoid the discomfort of making a tough decision. And all that advice in the end just turned into junk in my head, because the more you ask people for opinions, the more it influences you. And on one hand, you have people telling you like, oh, this would be great. Yeah, you should do that. And so you're influenced like, oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, I should do it. But then you ask someone else and then they say, oh no, like I wouldn't do that if I were you. I don't think that's wise. And then you feel pulled to think, oh, it's not a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't do it. And the more you ask people, the more your brain is just going back and forth from one side to the other. And it's not really solving the indecision for you anyway. So all of that advice can actually cloud your judgment more and bring you less clarity than before. And a lot of the times, the things that we're actually meant to do, the things that in our gut we know we probably should be doing, are often the things that a lot of people are telling us not to do. So what I do instead is I just don't ask for advice anymore. Instead, I think, is this something that I could research and get more information about in order to better inform my decision? Or is this just something that kind of is based off of my values and I have to look inward and figure it out? And if I'm not really clear on what my value is around this, I'm not really clear what I want to do, then what can I do to get that clarity? I've learned that making difficult decisions is just uncomfortable. And when I'm asking for advice, I'm just trying to sidestep that discomfort. Now I just try to experiment with making decisions silently and just accepting the fact that it is always going to feel uncomfortable and going to be like incredibly scary at times. But I need to make a decision on my own and follow through so that I can see the outcomes. Because seeing what you get from decisions you made is how you build confidence in your decision-making skills and get better at recognizing what you want.